Welcome to Teleislas News with the most relevant and important information of the day. Yesterday, the President of the Republic, Gustavo Petro, made a visit to the archipelago. Upon his arrival on Old Providence, the President toured the infrastructure that is part of the reconstruction and questioned the cost of housing in the framework of the construction. In view of this, the reaction of the members of the cabinet of former Governor Ivan Duque were not long in coming.
The president made known that it's not justified that the houses in the framework of the reconstruction of the municipality have a unit value of 600 million pesos.
La primera sorpresa que tuve, y creo que de ahí se podría...
The first surprise I had, and let's say that from there you could start the analysis of our kinds, economic, anthropological, and ethnic, is the average value of each housing solution that has been delivered to the community. In total, there are a little over 1,000 between new and refurbished, but the average cost of these homes is 600 million pesos. There are buildings of approximately 60 square meters that gives almost 10 million pesos per square meter. Then why such a surprising value? How can a concrete house with zinc tiles in Providence be worth 600 million pesos?
Faced with the President Petro remarks, Susana Correa, who at the time was appointed as manager for the reconstruction, published some tweets about the situation. While Providence is not only housing, 357 activities implemented constitute the universe of defined actions, she said. According to her, more than building, the aim was to recover the agricultural, commercial, industrial, tourism, cultural, sports, energy, and other sectors that were affected by the natural disaster. The economic reactivation is a fact, and tourists return to Old Providence and Queclina. 150 inns and tourist establishments were built, restaurant in operation, 260 business equipped, and 54 commercial establishments at the service of the people. 58 boats and more than 150 engines for the fishing community of the island, she said. Contrary to what the president said, Correa assures that everything was done in harmony with ancestral cultural practice. Victor Munoz, former director of the administrative department of the Presidency of the Republic, emphasized that the 737 reconstructed homes cost 393 million pesos and have areas between 45 and 180 square meters. On the other hand, other larger shelter-type homes in metallic structure and concrete, and with an area of between 86 and 111 square meters, cost 695 million pesos, he said.
And regarding the presidential visit, at this time we made contact with Millicent O'Neill in the municipality of Old Providence. Millie, good night, and what was the reaction of inhabitants of the municipality to the statement made by President Petro on his first visit to the island?
Good evening to all our viewers. This is the most relevant information from Old Providence and Queclina. After his first official visit to Old Providence, President Gustavo Petro questioned the high cost of the houses built in the reconstruction process. The community also expressed its indignation.
With great surprise and indignation, Old Providence native received the news on the price of the housing solutions built after Hurricane Iota. The community expressed their feelings after the shocking news.
I feel like that look kind of over extravagant because not even for Gustavo Robinson, where we call Old Providence here, we got a big house in Mountain, where I would have said would have valued something like that, about 600 million, a house that don't value. Because Patapa, them house where them say is out of cement, them house not cement, and some house is iron with a metallic maya where them put a plaster, a copper, a cement, the plaster on it. A concrete house is house where we know you build out a brick, whether red brick or white brick, and then you put cement on it.
Look, it's impossible for a house like this iron house. Iron house, I all the time make my videos and I tell you, no, this is iron house, land with a little maya. 600 million, impossible. In a no moment that can cost that.
It look hard for me. No house, it have to be a mansion like this quality of house to come out to 600 million.
About 250 million, and scarcely that. Scarcely that. And the housing don't know if Providence situation. Understand me? This one of the house crack up. It's not my boy crack up, and you're not giving me nothing neither. Understand me? But the people tell too much lie.
The community is still in shock by the news since until yesterday no one knew for sure the value of these houses. According to declarations by the former manager of the reconstruction, these prices would only be limited to the 330 galvanized houses.
Also, yesterday during his first visit to Old Providence, President Petro toured several works being carried out in the municipality.
At 12:20, President Gustavo Petro landed in Old Providence, and from that moment he began his first tour of the island, accompanied by ministers, the president of Findetel, the mayor, the governor, the House representatives, and military commanders. The head of state made an initial stop at one of the galvanized houses in Bailey, where he spoke with the owner and members of the community about them. Although he was scheduled to visit the fire station and the police station still under construction, he did not stop for long at these places. The president went to the construction site of the old hospital in Santa Isabel, where he spoke with the engineers and workers about the progress of this project, which began recently. On his way to the new port captaincy, children, parents, and teachers stopped him and asked for the reconstruction of the architectural heritage convent. There, together with the Minister of Education, he had a flexible conversation on the subject. After visiting the port captaincy and talking about the relocation of the Coast Guard dock, the president visited Hunin School to verify the progress there. Although there was a meeting scheduled at the New Life Tabernacle with the community leaders, the president decided to return and hold the meeting at the Camp for Dignity, where he spoke with the community and several leaders about the situation of the island, the future of fishing, and the continuity of the reconstruction. He also spoke about the functions that the RISAL ambassadors and councils would have, the construction of a confederation of Anglophone people in the Caribbean, among other topics. From there, the president returned to the plane, where he traveled to San Andres at 6:30 p.m.
On the other hand, an inhabitant of Rocky Point has blocked the ring road because he says that his house, which was destroyed by Hurricane Iota, does not appear in any of the lists managed by the competent entities for the reconstruction of the municipality. The affected party affirms that the authorities say that the house is located in a risk zone, but he insists that he will not move from the place where he was born and raised.
My house is the only one in Rocky Point that don't touch yet. And I have a big problem with him because him don't touch my house. And I want to know what is the problem, why he not touch my house. And my house, supposedly, him say, is in a race zone. One time I list him in the pan. When I come now, that one time him come and tell me, say, I put it police. They tell me, say, they would, if they want, they accommodate me somewhere else. And I tell them, say, I know I move from my house because this is family things.
This is all we have for tonight for the section of Old Providence and Ketlina. Continue in San Andres, Lisa, with more Teleislas news. Good night.
Thank you, Millian. In other news, during the visit of the country's president, Gustavo Petro, to the archipelago, several of his ministries informed the public about the work that will be carried out from their portfolios for the islands and their communities.
During his official visit to the archipelago of San Andres, President Gustavo Petro was accompanied by the Minister of Education, Alejandro Gaviria. The letter indicated that the national government will seek to increase the quality of education in the islands.
La necesidad imperiosa de esta región de aumento.
The pressing need of this region is to increase the quality of basic and secondary education, which is fundamental. The indicators show a lag with respect to the national average. For that, we have deployed a set of initiatives. Therefore, we emphasized the need to increase opportunities for young people in higher education. With the President, we are thinking of San Andres as a center for research and university training in the Caribbean. Further, we could begin to implement this idea with an agreement between the National University and the West Indies University in Jamaica. And that is where we are going to start.
The Minister of Education also stated that by November of this year, the national government expects to deliver the reconstructive Hunin School. On the other hand, he announced the construction of a new institution with royalty resources that will be delivered next year for Old Providence.
And IDEAM forecasts low-intensity rains for the archipelago department of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina.
Around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the first report from EDM with a rain forecast for several regions of the country, including the Atlantic coast and the Caribbean, was released. According to the information disseminated through the Twitter account of the Institute of Hydrology, Meteorology, and Environmental Studies, rains are expected in La Guajira, Magdalena, Atlántico, Northern Bolívar, Cesar, north of Santander, Antioquia, Chocó, coffee growing area, Valle del Cauca, and San Andres. After 2 hours, new trails from EDM were published around 3 p.m. in which less intense precipitations were ratified for the archipelago. However, it is emphasized that as in other cities, the inhabitants of the islands will observe cloudy conditions with rain. So far, some isolated low-intensity rains persist in San Andres in scattered sectors. At the closing of this broadcast, the most recent forecast has not indicated whether the rains will intensify in the following hours in the island territory.
6,000 grams of marijuana were found in dog food. This and other judicial news to follow.
In recent days, the National Police managed to seize several kilos of marijuana in cargo area of the airport and at the airport search and control point. The operational commander of Citizen Security expanded on this information.
Es así, como en las bodegas de carga del aeropuerto.
In the cargo storage areas of the airport, in a work conducted by the anti-narcotics group, a total of 24 wrappers with a total weight of 6,500 grams corresponding to a vegetable substance with characteristics similar to marijuana were found inside some bags of canine food. Likewise, during the profiling and search of people arriving on flights entering the archipelago, a 17-year-old minor was apprehended and a total of 16,000 grams of the same plant substance was found. Finally, during a search of the airport facilities, 2,500 grams of a plant substance with similar characteristics to marijuana were found abandoned in one of the restrooms.
On the other hand, the police managed to capture a man who robbed the bodyguard of a betting of casino business on the island.
After being alerted of a robbery committed by a bodyguard of the company's superheroes, the apprehension of a 17-year-old young man was achieved, who was found in possession of a pistol-type firearm with supplier ammunition. In addition, 4,600,000 pesos were recovered as a result of this robbery.
From today at the departmental hospital, new babies can be registered.
Today, the first 2 newborns were registered at the departmental hospital due to the opening of the office where the civil birth registration process is carried out. This was announced by the director of the departmental S, Maria Bracho.
I want to share that today we started with the registrar's office system here at the hospital, thanks to those who provided us the technological support so that mothers who come to the institution to have their babies can count on this service and leave with their baby registered.
Parents will receive the first copy of the document free of charge by obtaining the birth certificate. Children born in the departmental state social enterprise will have access to the mechanism to guarantee their protections against violence, health care, the right to education, and access to justice.
For the National Registrar, this is a very important fact in the department, also for us, the departmental delegation. This service was provided in 2017, but as a result of the change of name of the hospital, said agreement had been terminated. But with support from the hospital manager, this service was reactivated for the community. This is a great achievement.
However, there are specific issues where it will be necessary to go directly to the National Registry Office.
There are some registrations that are going to be issued at the registrar's office because there are very special cases, such as those where mothers want their child to carry their first surname.
One of the 2 fathers who managed to register the newborn baby at the hospital today say that this makes the process easier and save them time.
I think it's perfect because you don't have to do any more errands since you can sort things out right there.
With this information, we reach to the end of our broadcast, but we see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. with more Teleislas news. Good night.